Health benefits of good posture. Is there such a thing? I'll explain. Hey, I'm Dr. Ekberg with Wellness for Life, and if you'd like to truly master health by understanding how the body really works, make sure that you subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you don't miss anything. What are the health benefits of good posture? Why do people tell you to straighten up? Why did your mommy say, don't slouch, sit up straight, walk straight, stand straight? Why does that matter? Well, your mom wasn't so far off the mark there. So first of all, posture is determined by your brain. In every moment, if your brain didn't send the signals to certain muscles and decide to keep you in a certain place, then you'd just be a pile of meat and bones on the floor. And in any given moment, about 90% of all the brain's energy expenditure goes to regulating your posture, to keep you moving and in the right place in the field of gravity. That's according to Roger Sperry, who won the Nobel Prize at one point. So what is normal posture? Well, from the front, anterior to posterior, then you're supposed to have a straight spine. All the bones are supposed to be aligned, shoulders are supposed to be level, head's supposed to be straight, and there's not supposed to be any curves in that spine. Now, if you turn sideways, now there's supposed to be 3 curves. So in the neck, there's supposed to be an anterior curve. In the rib cage, in the chest, there's supposed to be a posterior curve or kyphosis. And in the lumbar area, there's supposed to be an anterior curve or a lordosis again. So these are 3 curves that are normal and natural and necessary. And babies, they don't start off with those curves. They're born with just a single lordotic and a posterior curve. It's just one big arch. But then as they develop, they start raising their head and they get their cervical curve, and then they start standing up, and these curves develop over time. When we look at the shoulders, then we look at it from the front, and the arms are supposed to hang straight down, and your palms are supposed to face inward toward your body. This is one of the most common postural distortions. Even people who try to stretch and keep a good posture, you see almost all of them are going to have their palms facing backward. And that means they have an anterior, a flexor dominance, which is a stress response. So a good posture, when you have balance between your internal and your external rotators, then your palms are going to be facing in towards your body when your arms are hanging relaxed. So the thing to understand though, we said that 90% of the brain's expenditure is related to posture. Well, the brain only responds to information. The vast majority of what the brain does is it receives information, it processes, and it responds. So what that means is that the brain controls the body, but the body sends an equal amount of information to the brain. So if most of the brain's output is relating to posture, that means most of the brain's input is relating to posture. And why is that important? Because every cell in your body operates on the principle of use it or lose it. If you work out a muscle, it gets stronger. If you stop, if you hurt your arm, you put it in a cast, then that muscle atrophies very, very quickly. The same thing holds true for the brain. So if you don't feed your brain signals from the body, then that brain is going to atrophy. So if we understand that a proper posture promotes movement, that these fine little adjustments of posture and movement that the brain makes all the time, that's the output that's corresponding to an equal amount of input, then we understand that a proper posture feeds the brain. And I think you would agree that the brain is a good thing to have. And the longer we live, the more important it becomes, because one of the most important factors in aging and slowing aging is to keep the brain healthy. So posture plays a huge role in that. One interesting thing to consider also is what's called the suboccipital muscles. So that's right underneath the skull bone up here in the upper cervical, in the top of the neck. Those two bones are called the atlas and the axis. And in Greek mythology, the god Atlas was the one who held up the world. And in your body, the atlas is what holds up your head and your brain. And because it is so incredibly important, that has specific muscles associated with it that have more receptors, that have a greater participation in the input to your brain than any other bone or any other muscles in your body. And these muscles, there are several of them, and they're so tiny that they're not supposed to do work. Some muscles in your body, like your quadriceps and your biceps, they're big, strong muscles. They're supposed to do work. But other muscles are more about signaling. The smaller the muscle is, the more important it becomes for fine motor control, and in some cases not even motor control, but just sensory, because muscles have a huge sensory input to the brain. There's muscle spindles in the muscles. Their sole purpose is to send information to the brain. And in the suboccipital muscles, there are more of these receptors and more of these spindle cells than anywhere else in the body. Now here's the point. When we have a bad posture, then when the head juts forward, when we get a little bit of anterior head carriage, now those muscles get put under chronic constriction, under chronic tension, meaning they're a little bit tight all the time. And that means that they are not fulfilling their purpose of signaling. Now they're just sitting there in a constant static contraction, and they can't signal, they can't feed the brain the way that they're supposed to. So as soon as we get a little bit of anterior head carriage, we lose one of the most important feedback mechanisms for the brain. So this is why it's so important with good posture, because in ideal posture, when everything is balanced and stacked the way that it's supposed to, we move better and we signal better and the brain gets healthier. This is one of the reasons that you can notice that posture even affects mood. That people who feel great, they stand up straight, they stand tall, they have great posture. People who don't feel so good, people who are depressed, people who are stressed, you start seeing how their posture declines. So work on your posture. There's a video here about 3 winged friends, and we also have a video on some neck stretches. Make this a daily routine so that you can maintain your posture. Pay attention to how you stand and move, because it matters. Please share this video with as many people as you can, because it's all about health, it's all about saving lives and having better lives. If you're new to this channel and you enjoy these kind of in-depth explanations where you start seeing the mechanisms behind the facts, then make sure that you subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you don't miss anything. And again, thanks for watching.